Al-Sudani asks the Trump administration to continue granting Iraq an exemption from importing Iranian gas. Quote, Al-Sudani said in an interview with Asharq al-Awsat, "The previous, U.S. administration gave us an exemption from these sanctions." Al-Sudani also pointed out that Iraq has begun the process of linking energy with neighboring countries in order to cover our needs. Exceptional efforts made by the ministry in coordination with government agencies to hold a third round of negotiations for Iraq's accession to the World Trade Organization after 16 years as Iraq submitted files for goods and services and reviewed economic reforms. I think you guys can get the picture. If the United States thinks the security and stability is going to be good, they're going to be there. I told you guys that we were looking for this to happen Wednesday. We had intended to go, and everything was ready to release. The Treasury was told not to let it go. We did not get a security level 1, we're at a level 2. So we're getting very, very close to having the security say, yeah, it's okay to go. We're not quite where we need to be, and we're going to wait until the weekend to get this thing started. Also, President Trump was heard to say on Right Side Broadcasting that he wants us, meaning the American people, he wants us to have money on Saturday. Now that's his desire for this thing to go for us. The Iraqis should be proud of achieving this international level of cross-border training status, as it is the last of the reforms and the last of many. Such a kickstart and renovation of a nation that has been so far behind the rest of the world has never been attempted before. It has been a long, arduous challenge, and the diligence of many brilliant people will very soon bring forth the moment we have all been awaiting. In my 14 years of being involved in this investment, I have never been so pleasantly enlightened and uplifted about our impending success. Television is showing the United States President, your Trump just signed a memorandum making it impossible for Iran to use Iraq's monetary financial system to avoid sanctions. Wow. Frank, to see what Trump just did against Iran by using Iraq is an indication that Sudani and Trump are shoulder to shoulder. This action by Trump tied Iran's hands even strong against stealing your purchasing power. Trump is protecting the new exchange rate right along with Sudani. Be careful. There are groups, entities, organizations, government, that is preparing to take it away from you. They will find different ways to take it. They will penalize you, have interest put on you. You will make a mistake, they will capitalize on it. I told you to get a team together. I told you to get professionals together. If you don't do that, I'm sorry, I wish you the best, they're waiting for you. They are looking. The last administration had 90,000 agents that were going to come out and get you. You thought that was a mistake? You thought that's not part of what's going on? Why would you need that many? Newspaper reveals Trump will lead an economic war that includes Iraq. Quote, Iraqi circles have raised their warnings about the imposition of economic sanctions by the Donald Trump administration. The first in the Trump era. Sanctions targeting Iran's economic lung. Quote, the U.S. Treasury Department announced on Thursday the imposition of the first sanctions during the Donald Trump era on individuals and oil tankers that help ship millions of barrels of Iranian crude annually to China. The U.S. Treasury is targeting an oil network that brings hundreds of millions of dollars to the Iranian military, as Tehran brings in billions of dollars every year through oil sales to finance its activities and support Hamas, the Houthis and Hezbollah, from Iraq. Complex networks and methods of smuggling dollars from Iraq to Iran. American Report reveals the details. This lays out the perfect reasons to have an RV and fix it. All they need to do to fix this is revalue the Iraqi currency, the dinar. Television shows the United States President canceling the exception to allow Iraq to obtain electricity from Iran. Television says we have the capability to have our own electricity, enough to handle our own supply. Frank, it is being set up to be as powerful as your currency. Trump wants you to stop buying it from Iran. Trump cancels exemption granted to Iraq to import electricity and gas from Iran. U.S. President Donald Trump canceled, Wednesday, the exemption granted to Iraq to import electricity and gas from Iran. This is evidence that Trump is not going to be relaxed with Iraq and has expectations that they agreed to in his first term and have not yet fulfilled. Folks, almost 7 years have gone by. This is one of those skeletons they must clean up. But there is more to this issue. Iraq has already developed its own electric grid, and is now self-sufficient and no longer needs Iranian electricity or gas. So, why is Iraq still purchasing these utilities from Iran? This is Trump's point. Get it? The overall long-term plan is to get Iraqi to the reinstatement. It may seem a long way off, however, I assure you it is not. Just look at how quickly things are moving along. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani called on Friday on the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump to continue exempting Iraq from importing Iranian gas after the decision to cancel it. U.S. President Donald Trump recently canceled the exemption granted to Iraq to import electricity and gas from Iran, as part of the new package of sanctions on Iran. Al-Sudani said in an interview with Asharq al-Awsat, "The previous, U.S. administration gave us an exemption from these sanctions," adding that, "Our government did not just request an exemption, but we also took the initiative to invest in the associated gas." He added, "Iraq has a clear vision. In 2028, gas imports will end, and there will be clear energy independence," stressing that, in the end, we need this exception to continue throughout this period. Al-Sudani also pointed out that Iraq has begun a process of linking energy with neighboring countries in order to cover our needs, and this is part of the concept of integration that we seek with our brothers. He continued by saying, "The connection with Jordan has been implemented and currently Western Iraq is being supplied with energy. It is hoped that during this year the connection with Kuwait and the Gulf Group will be completed. We have also started contracting for the connection between Iraq and Saudi Arabia. The connection with Turkey has also been implemented and we have started receiving energy and as a result from the European Union." The Prime Minister continued, "The Iraqi government has found solutions, and we certainly expect our friends in the United States to understand the government's plans so that they will allow us to continue to use Iranian gas until our projects are completed, in which any imported gas will be dispensed with." For many years, Iraq has relied on importing electricity and gas from Iran, especially during the peak of summer, and thus relies on the ongoing American exemptions, which are issued more than once each year. Recently, Iraq has moved to import gas from Turkmenistan, and it will also pass through Iranian pipelines, but it has not yet been implemented due